Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time seeing some of my videos, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that little bell button. Every time I post a new video, you'll get notified. So I left off that every time I would get two contractions, my baby's heart rate would go down. I couldn't be laying down. Nurse came in and put the IV in me. You have to get 2 bags of liquids in case you want to get the epidural, in case you need to get C-section. I was on my first bag and I felt like I had to pee. They put me on the band. So they have a band that goes and calculates the baby's heart rate and another band that goes and calculates your contractions. So they went ahead and paged my doctor because they didn't know what he wanted to do. They asked me if my baby's baseline was really low, but I really didn't know what his baseline was. But he was under a bit of stress because every time I would get those contractions, his heart rate would go down. But later on, the nurse did explain to me that it was also because my contractions were back to back. She put me on the ball. I was on the bouncing ball, and my husband was behind me, and he was rubbing my back. That's a tip that really worked for me. The nurse was teaching him, and I was giving him cues as to if I really liked what he was doing and massaging my back, the points or the where I was getting pressure, and he was just massaging those areas when I would get the contractions, and I feel like that really helped me. 20 minutes passed and I asked her if she could check me again. She did check me and she was like, wow, you're at a 7. I just kept throwing up. I asked my husband, can you get me an Emesis bag? An Emesis bag is that long green bag that they normally give you so you can throw up. I was like, can you get me a bag? I would just start to get a contraction and then throw up and then get another one. But it would only happen when I was on my back. I could not stay on my back because the contractions on my back were excruciating. And so when I was on my ball or doing something, it was I would get distracted. Mind you, I did want to record, but I had no mindset of recording. The last thing that could come to my head was take out the camera. I just wanted to get this baby out, to cope with the pain, and to be done with my labor. But I do admit I was a little bit calm. It just really hurt. I kept telling my body more than anything, you're a woman. People in the third country, they do this with no epidural. You can do this. You go through so much every day. You're a woman and your body is made to go through childbirth. So having the right mindset helped me to get through my contractions. There was a point where she made me kind of be on all fours. The doctor was just not getting there. The doctor wanted to break my water to speed up the process, but he was just not getting there. And I didn't care about it because I wasn't at a 10 either way. And so basically the water bag, once the water's broken, so your pelvis is this. Once the water's water is a barrier so that you don't get contractions, because basically the baby's is bone with bone. So I knew that if my water didn't break yet, I did want it broken, but I wasn't too hesitant on the doctor not coming because I knew that once he came, the contractions were going to get a lot stronger, and I didn't know if I could handle the pain. So she checked me again, and when she checked me, I had to be on my back. And so she checked me, and she's like, you're almost there. She checked me an hour, not even 30 minutes later. So by this time, it was probably 8 o'clock because I got admitted around 7. So it was around 8 o'clock. So I got to an 8, and then at the 8, I could just not do it anymore. And I was, grabbing on the side rail, moaning. I was like, hell no, I can't do this. So I asked my nurse, is there any way I can get the epidural? And she's like, it's your call. I can give you the epidural, but honestly, you're going really, really fast. So by the time the anesthesiologist even comes down here, gives you your epidural, and your body, like, it takes time for your body. Once you get the epidural, it takes time for your body to even get the medicine. So by the time that the anesthesiologist comes down here, like, your baby's gonna be born. So I was like, I looked at my husband, and I was like, what do I do? And my husband was like, Gina, like, you're at an 8, you can do this. So he's like, you've been telling yourself this whole time that your body can do this. So you're at an 8, like, you're almost there. So which I didn't do this, but if you do ask your nurse to massage your perineal area, it acts kind of like a lubricant so you don't tear. Majority of the women will tear. So I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'll stick with it. I kept moving positions, and I asked her, she was massaging my back. Because my husband was like my only support person there. So I was like holding his hand. So she saw that I needed somebody to like massage my hips and my back, my lower back area. So she came and started massaging me. And when she was massaging me, she was like, let me know if you have to push. And I was like, I have to push. So she checks me and she's like, honey, you're at a 9. You're almost there. This was like 15 minutes later after I had gotten to an 8. And so she comes and she's like, your doctor's almost here. She pages a nurse and she's like, where the hell is the doctor? Like, he needs to get here. She's at a 9 and she's progressing really fast. We don't know when she's going to get to a 10. So I was just laying there in bed, and I was when I was at a 9. So the doctor comes in. I had the most wonderful experience. I had a high school friend. Her name is Anna. Shout out to you, Anna. And she happened to be giving birth at the same time that I was giving birth. I actually know her from like middle school, and our babies were born on the same day. She was in labor, and she was laboring first, and then I got to the hospital afterwards. But my doctor, when he got there, broke my water. By this time, it was like 8:45 when the doctor came in. Like, they paged him and they're like, oh, she's ready to give birth. So he was like, okay, I'll come, and do her labor. And by the time I go and do her labor, Gina will already be ready to go. So he breaks my water. I'm literally in pain for the next, from when he broke my water to when my baby was born, it was 20 minutes. So I was just in pain with my contractions. He went, delivered her baby. She had a beautiful and healthy baby girl, Sophia. So it's a memory that I'm going to be able to share for the rest of my life. And so he went to go deliver her baby. He came back and delivered mine. But by the time he came back, I was at 9.5. I wasn't ready to push yet. But because I had kind of like a limp, like my cervix was completely gone. But like, I think don't quote me on this because I'm actually studying maternity. But I think your cervix has to be from posterior, which is in the back, to anterior, which is in the front. Or I don't know if it's the other way around and be anterior to posterior. I'll update you guys on that. But basically, there was a little bit of my cervix, or like it had to move, and so there was like a limp. And so my nurse told my doctor, like, she has a little bit left. I don't know what you want to do. So he like grabbed me and like opened me up. That little bit of like cervix that I had left, he like opened it. And so he was like, start pushing. I knew how to push, but I was just in so much pain because it literally, like, I don't know if you've heard of the term ring of fire. It feels like your vagina's on fire. Like, you want to push, but like there comes a point where like your body starts like doing like this like on its own. So I was like, I have to push. So they're like, all right. They were looking at my contraction and I was like pushing, but I was just so frustrated at the doctor that like like he grabbed my leg and I was like trying to push, but when he was like, I kept pushing him. He was like, no, don't push me. Grab like your legs and push like towards you, like if you're taking a big shit. So I was like, okay, well, you know, like at one point I screamed like, I can't do this, and he's like, all right, tell me when you get like the next pain. So I was like, I felt the next pain. In reality, I didn't feel the next pain, but I just wanted to get this baby out of me. So I was like, I'm ready, and he was like, all right, push. And I grabbed onto the side rail. They like put you like, make your chin forward and then keep going, hold your breath and do not keep going. What happens with a lot of women is that they'll like unhold their breath, or like, and then the baby rises up. So you don't want the baby to go up. You want to hold your breath for as long as you can and really, really do deep pushes. So I was, you know, I pushed once, like really, really, really hard, and they were like, keep pushing. So when you push, there's going to be another nurse counting. The doctor was like, stop pushing. He's out. And like, I felt everything. Like, I felt his head come out, but you just feel like a gush. Like, literally, it feels like you're taking a shit, but it's your baby's head. Like, it's just so big that you're like, oh my God, it's a shit, but it's stuck. Like, and in your mind, you're like, I'm going to be that girl that shits, you know, which by all means, it's totally normal. A lot of women do it. I mean, you're pushing so hard, you know, a baby's coming out of your vagina. It's totally okay if you take a shit. My husband cuts the cord, and the doctor's like, I'm gonna go ahead and reach in for your placenta. I had heard of women pushing their placenta, but mine like grabbed his hand and pushed it out, and like it was like a weird feeling. My doctor was like me and him, we had a really good relationship. He's really funny. He talks a lot of shit. So he was like, you see, I told you to get the anesthesia. You didn't want to get it. He started stitching me up, and I could feel everything. And and you know, you have somebody who like presses on your stomach to get all those blood clots out. You really want all that nasty stuff out. They do weigh your blood because a lot of women start bleeding or start hemorrhaging, so they want to know how much blood you have. A lot of things that people don't tell you is after labor, they give you like this cold ice pack. They basically get like a diaper and like stuff it in with ice, but it feels amazing because, you know, your vagina's like all torn up. I was lucky enough to tear to a stage 2. Which isn't so bad. A lot of women, basically, it's like your vagina's right here and then your anus is right here. So a lot of women tear straight down. I think that's like a 4th degree or 5th degree tear. But some women don't even tear at all. And like I said, a key is in delivery, have your nurse like massage your perineal area, and in order for, it's kind of like a lubricant. I didn't do it. My baby boy was born healthy on March 22nd. He was born at 9:13 p.m. It was a really fast delivery. I got to the hospital at 7, and he was born at 9:13. So I was only there for like an hour and a half. I think maybe, no, 2 hours and like 15 minutes. So it was a really fast delivery. Some of the things, like I said in my previous videos, it worked for me. Primrose oil, the red raspberry leaf tea. But before you do any of these things, consult with your physician and ask him what's the best thing you can take, because a lot of women that take have high blood pressure or that are diabetic cannot take certain teas or cannot take certain supplements. So please, before you do anything, only do these if you have a healthy pregnancy. My nurse asked me, would you have a baby with an epidural or without an epidural? I said I would have it with an epidural, just because I went from like in pain to chilling, but I did like the feeling of recovery of not having an epidural. It's a lot faster. That basically sums up my labor and delivery story. So do not forget again to like, subscribe. I've been trying to do vlogs, but with this whole coronavirus, I cannot leave the house, and then you know, now we have a curfew for the state of California. I think it's like pretty much in all the 50 states. But from Southern California, you know, certain states have certain times that you cannot have a curfew, and so I'm not able to do anything or go anywhere. So yeah, please stay tuned to if you want to see more videos of me, and thank you for watching this video.